Hey guys, me. Holy crap! Talk about being a little hoarse. Of course. Hey guys, how you doing? Bob here. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Today is April 16th. Another week in the middle of this whole Corona, COVID-19 epidemic. I've been one of the fortunate ones. I'm considered to be, well, I don't know if it's fortunate or not, an essential person. I've been considered to be an essential personnel. So I've actually been I'm still employed, working here. And that's kind of totally irrelevant. I don't even know how to talk about this. This is just messed up. It's just mind-blowing. But anyway. Okay, so on this episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about the cameras that I used on my trip and how I powered them and so forth throughout the trip. I've had a couple of inquiries about it and where I'm getting the power from and all of that. So I just want to walk you through it real quick on what I did and the cameras and how I managed to upload and capture as much data as I did, or as much video as I did. So let's see if we can do this here. That looks good. So let's put some light down in here. Okay, like all Goldwings. Wow, this is really dark. When I bought the bike in here, let me see if I get a flashlight. So there's a bunch of different ways that people can get power to cameras and phones and so forth on the bike. There's actually some devices now that you can buy that you can actually draw straight from the battery, apply it near your mount for your phone. And that works out really well too. I'll show you an example of that I have. Some aftermarket stuff. What I did is when I bought the bike, this is actually a Goldwing accessory you can buy right here. Let me see if we can see it. The screen likes to go dark. So in here is a power takeoff. Basically what it is it's your standard, I don't know, you want to call it a cigarette lighter plug. Comes with wire, and it comes with a connector. In here, in behind here, there's an accessory plug. And basically, with the kit that you buy for it, it's the cigarette lighter plug with a little wiring harness to a Molex connector that plugs into the harness of the bike. So what I did was I tapped off between the Molex connector and the wiring that goes to the plug, and I took 2 taps off of it. One tap is a wire that runs all along in here to this side of the console. It's living down in here. And the other one is I just took another tap and I put another cigarette lighter plug up in there. So what I did is I taped it all up and I put a Samsung fast charging single port up inside here. And what I did is I put a USB cable that runs out, let me see if I get you some light down here, that runs out from underneath that little plastic shroud right there. See that little black wire? There's enough spacing in there. It's soft enough that you can run the wire. And I basically got it underneath this plastic shroud, cable tied right there. And to step back a little bit, straighten the handlebars out. So from here all the way up to here, this is how I power my phone. So because I got a Galaxy S8, it's a power-hungry thing. So when you're using Waze or any type of high-intensity application, it's tough for a lot of the chargers to maintain it on a Galaxy S8. So I was having some issues there. So what I decided to do is I decided to go with the Samsung fast charger on that. So I had tapped, again, like I said, I tapped a set of zip line to this side. I put another cigarette lighter plug basically just floating on in here. And I got another Samsung fast charger, because you never know if I want to put the phone here or here, because I got the RAM out there as well. So I wanted to have that flexibility, so I put another fast charger here. Only this one's a 2-port. So with the 2-port, I have one wire that runs similar to this side, but one runs right here. And that's basically an open port at this point. So it runs in there, it runs underneath, runs all underneath there into the shroud, floats on through here, and it's one side of the dual Samsung charger. Okay, so back to this side of the bike. So on the other side of the dual port, I actually have a line that runs in behind the fairing here, and using some cable management clips, you can see right here, these are some 3M double sticky tape, this little round thing. These are great. You can pick these up at Home Depot, and they're the best way to sort of just clip wires up out of the way. And that other side of that Samsung now feeds this camera. And this is the nose cam that I had on the bike when I went on the trip. I had it up until South Dakota, and for whatever reason, my Hero 4 failed. It must have got wet or something. And I needed this camera for my selfie stick. So this is my Hero 5. This produces the best footage out of all of it. The second best footage was the Hero 4. I lost the Hero 4. I tried doing some things with my Hero 3s, but the Hero 3s just didn't do it. But regardless, so I now have a power takeoff that I can function, that I can maintain voltage. So one of the things I had, one of the issues I had with taking this cross country was when you plug in constant power into these things, you have to take this door off, and it no longer makes it watertight. So there was a lot of times where I had to take this on and off the bike. I need to resolve that. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to use maybe some plumber's putty. See if I can't go in there and blob some in there, just to see if I can't make it. Not so much, you know, it doesn't have to be waterproof, but it has to be water resistant. So I'm going to work on trying to do something like that. I think the plumber's putty might work. It's got a tackiness to it, and obviously because it's plumber's putty, it's water resistant. So just maybe put a little piece of tape over that little connector in there, and then just put plumber's putty all around the perimeter of that, and I bet you that would make it watertight. Be interesting to see if that works. What else? So I'm using the Ulanzi case. The reason why I like the Ulanzi case is it has this cover. So you can take the cover off. This is a GoPro Hero 5. These lenses are replaceable. So when you get the 4, well, not the 4, but the 5, the 6, and the 7, it allows you to, well, it gives you it affords you the opportunity to buy external lenses here. So having it as a nose cam is excellent, because if this ever gets chipped, I can just pop that off and pop a new one on. I actually have a few extra ones of that, which is good. Plus, this Ulanzi case, even though it doesn't have the microphone piece, I like it because I can just cover the whole thing up. And then that way there it's protected. So even when I'm not using it, the lens is protected. That's just fantastic. I found that with these GoPros, these series of GoPros, when you have to use the external mic to run constant battery power through the mic adapter, the GoPro can get buggy. Because of that, it created issues for me where it would just decide it didn't want to play anymore, or it would corrupt the card. Don't ask me why it would do that, but it would do that. So that being an issue, I just decided, you know what, I don't need it. I wanted to run a microphone up in the cockpit from here so I could capture the noise of the motor, because I like the drone of the motor, the whine of the motor. It's nice to have in the background when you're filming, but it just wound up not being a reality to have a stable video. So I just got to run a little line here, tie it, so tether it, or I can just take this off. Over here there's a screw under here. I'm going to take a screw and I'm going to run a tether line to this, right, like I had before. And that way there, if this mount fails, it'll just fall off to the side and it'll be caught so I don't lose the GoPro. I don't run over it, damage it. And that's that. Now when I went cross country, there was a need for more power than what the dash affords me right now. So I could power the mic. This here line here, this line I have right here, would go to an assembly I had here, which was the GoPro that faced me. So I would mount that here, and I would power it through that jack, so that was fine. But there were other things that I had here that I needed power constantly. So I had with me, on demand, was a selfie stick, which wound up being the GoPro 5. First was a GoPro 4, but that failed. Wound up being the GoPro 5. And it was a selfie stick, so I needed to keep that charged. I'll show you how I did that. And then the other one was I had a remote that would turn the cameras on. And I needed to keep that charged. The battery on that thing is horrible. So I got this thing here that I found on, I think it was Amazon. Really neat little tool. Well, not a tool, but a device. It's a 4-port charger for USB. It has your your plug-in for your 12-volt in, and on this piece right here, geez, I don't even know if you're seeing this. Right there, you can plug in an additional 2. So what I did on this side is I put a strip of Velcro here, right? And I put a little Velcro on the back of this. And it just allowed me to do that. Okay, which worked out really well. So, in here, let's see if you can see that. Yeah. See that little wire management piece? I would take this, bring it around, neatly do it, clip it in there, and then I would feed it through the top of the triple tree, out the other side, this piece, okay? So it would come out this side, and it would go right in here. And then what I would do is I would then plug this in here. I cut a little nick right there. There's a nick right here that allowed this cable to sit there. I didn't damage the gasket at all. It allowed me to close the door. So this came up. I had the cable running through there. And all of this, can't do nothing about it now, but all of this was just all tucked up underneath here. It's great. So when I needed power, extra additional power, if I did, I actually never used these two. I had 2 here, and I had an additional 4 here. So I could plug in I'd run a line through here. I also had some wire management through here. I've taken that off since. One of the great things about those is they're removable. So I've taken it off since, but I had a cable that ran into here, and I'd have the selfie stick in like that with the GoPro, always charging, so when I needed to pull it out and use it, it was there for me. And the other one was another line that I had that I ran up across here, and I actually had it here at sometimes, because there's a piece of Velcro here, would be the remote. And the remote was tied into all the GoPros, so when I wanted to start recording, boop, I'd hit the button. That was buggy. So that wound up not working totally. But I always had enough I had enough USB capability. All right. So that's it. That's all it took. So I mean, I showed you the back. There's another video I have of what I've done to the back of this bike. So the back of the bike having the 110, the 12, and the 5-volt capacity in there. And I've charged my laptop in there. I've charged all my accessories in there when I'm not using it. My Senna. It's all been charged through there. Over here, this is a video in the future. I'm going to test out a gimbal. I'm going to try to put a gimbal here with my Hero 4. I think what I want to start to do is I think I want to go away from having a helmet cam. I want to get more of a fixed point. So maybe a camera facing me. Maybe a camera facing me. And then a camera facing forward. Not sure if I need it as a helmet, because I noticed a lot of my footage with that. It was jarring. It's jarring. I would turn my head right, turn my head left. You know, I'm running a Hero 4 with the Senna audio piece to it, and it's there's no stabilization to it. So, you know, I hit a bump, and my head does that. You can see the whole movement in the camera, and it just gets jarring. So I want to try to stabilize my forward video. It doesn't have to be on my helmet. You know, I put a wide enough view on it, that's fine. So the idea is maybe to put a gimbal here on this side of the bike. Nice wide angle. And then that way there, when the bike leans, the gimbal stays, the camera stays level, you see the bike lean into it. So I haven't done anything with that yet. I just played with that mount. It's going to be a RAM mount. It starts off at a GoPro to a RAM mount, and it'll finish up with a 3/8 thread on a wearable gimbal, Feiyu Tech. So we'll play with a little bit of that. So you'll see some videos, some test videos of me doing that. And this assembly here, with almost all the bikes I have, which is the Concourse, the FJR, and even my son's Concourse, his C14. I have a C10. They all have a little platform under here like the Wing does here. And this rig, I'm going to make this rig interchangeable for all the bikes. So I'll show you how I capture video with this, and I'll show you how much video I can capture with this, with the card. And then you'll understand why it's a good idea to have that. And I'll show you, I'll give you a quick little demo. I mean, you've probably seen the video footage, but I can give you a little demo of what that looks like, especially at hyperlapse. It's actually not a bad shot. It's a good angle. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's how it is. So there's more to come. Okay, so another question I was asked was, you know, how do I manage my data? You know, on this GoPro, what I did, and believe it or not, it works. And this is as far as I went. I don't know if it can go larger or not. See if I can't get this out of here. I got no fingernails. I don't know if you can see that. That's a 400 gigabyte SD card. Okay? So I carry a couple of these. 5, 7, and my 4 accepts them. I put them in my 3, and the 3s work, but they don't show any more beyond their maximum capacity that if you had, I think it's 128, I don't remember. But if you can look, and I don't know if you can see it, I got it at 1080, 60 linear with ProTune, because when you play with the settings, it gives you a little more or less. I got 17 hours of record time on this. Okay? So 400 gigabytes will give me 17 hours on that. If I take this, and I like to do 60 for the nose cam, obviously. I shut ProTune off, which I just did. This actually gives me a 1080 60L, and somehow I went into that. Didn't want to do that. Okay. Now I get 25 hours. I don't know if you can see that. 25 hours. So right now I can record 25 hours. That's a whole day. So a couple of cards, it's 50 hours. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And it does it. Works fine. Never had any freezing issues other than what you just saw a little while ago, but that has nothing to do with that. And yeah. So 25 hours straight. I can put that on the nose when I leave the house, and when I a full day's worth of riding, I can do it. Now I can either upload it, or just take it and pop another 4 and get another day out of it. So if I'm going out for 1 or 2 days, a couple of cards takes me everywhere I need to go. If I'm going for longer, like I did, then you bring a laptop with a terabyte USB drive, and you're good to go. You go forever. So with that, I'm going to kind of put all this back together. Just going to kind of wait it out and do these little projects here and there, and wait for summer to come. Hopefully we can capture a little bit of 2020. We'll see what happens with this whole COVID pandemic that we're dealing with now. I would really like to do a little bit of traveling this summer. I was all for it. I got another bike, and I had some plans for that as well. So hopefully this summer won't be a bust. We'll get something out of it. Hopefully we can do it, and we can do it safely, and we can stay healthy, and we can enjoy ourselves. That's what it's all about, right? So with that, I will catch you in the next one.